So after discovering Temu, well, I say discovering, my significant other's obviously been using it for quite a while. Unfortunately, I've now discovered it and have made a couple of purchases, one of them being the LED backlit TV lights. So on one of the deals, obviously they came up fairly cheap, less than a tenner, so I thought I'd take a quick punt and just see how well they really did. I've now installed them, and although it may seem a bit messy and haphazard, there is a reason for this that I'll come to shortly. So to start off with, let's see how they are and what features they have. So I'm turning them on. Obviously you have your RGB colours. So as standard, they come with the red, green, blue, yellow, cyan, purple, magenta. Although you might not have seen it, I did change from the purple to the magenta. A darker blue, another green, an orange and white. There's also a colour button, but that just cycles through the red, green, blue, yellow, blue, purple and white, and then back to red again. So you have your standard RGB colours. There are also some other modes. So you have an auto setting, you've got basically a mode setting. You've got a music setting, a TV setting, and a TV music setting. So if you look at the mode settings, I think there are about 10 different types of modes. But if I go through them quick, okay, so that's the start. You've got a mode plus and a mode minus, which obviously cycles up and down the modes. And there does seem to be a distinct start-stop of the different modes. So if we take this as mode 1, if I press plus, it does the same thing. So I'm pressing it a few times, as you can see, and I press it once and then move on to the second mode. So these obviously cycle light patterns and light displays through the LED strip. You can speed them up and speed them down. So if I go to the slowest speeds, so it flashes once it gets to the lowest setting, and then as I increase it, I think there are 10 speed settings. As you can see, they get faster and faster and then flash when they get to the maximum. So if I set that to about 5 and then continue, sorry, there's a few more than 10. And then I'm at the end of the modes. So you can increase the brightness as well. And there are 10 brightness settings. And again, it will flash once you get to the maximum or the minimum. So we go back down through the different modes. And obviously with that, you can kind of see how I've laid out the strip on the back of the TV. Okay, so while I go through the modes quickly, just like to say thanks for watching and please subscribe if you feel like you want to. But this video is probably going to be a bit longer than I expected, so I will probably look at splitting it into two, where the second part will be with the TV on the wall and what the lights look like with the TV mounted on the wall. Sorry, I think I had to restart the video just then as I had a phone call come through. And back to the final light display. So that's the modes, then there's a TV button, so obviously this one is then supposed to use the camera or the light sensor on the front, which sits at the top. And when I press that, that will then display, or should display, roughly the colours which are displaying on the screen. So I think I've just got a screensaver going on the front, and as you might be able to see, there are some slight variations in the change of the shade of the colour. But if I can't really do it from this side. But spoiler alert, it isn't that great. So coming on to the reason why I have set it out this way. So you have the TV mode, then you've got a TV music mode. Obviously the TV mode should mimic or roughly mimic the colours on the front of the TV, but it only, from what I can make out, only tends to pick a colour in a certain spot. So there is no ambient lighting. There is no one half of the screen, one colour, one half the other colour, or the corners, showing out. It just doesn't work that way. But coming on to the reason why I've set it out this way, if I move on to the TV music mode, as you'll see, so there are two distinct areas where there are, well, they're coming across probably white on the phone, but like a blue across the top and across the bottom, and obviously they're in different sections on the light strip. So I decided to obviously ensure that the first part is across the top, and then somewhere through the middle, I guess it's around halfway, or the start of the halfway mark on the light strip, that the second strip of lights, which then do correlate to the camera. And obviously the ones in between just move randomly depending on the music, but there are a number of different settings for this as well. So just quickly run through those settings. And obviously these are supposed to react to sound, obviously the sound from the TV. But I do find they seem to be quite sensitive, so actually even if there's a little bit of slight background noise or even white noise, they seem to go off. But again, there are a number of different light settings just based on the TV music mode. There is no brightness control, it's just one brightness, and there's no speed mode control on this. And annoyingly, there's no way of getting back to the TV, just the standard TV setting. You have to click a colour, then you can go back to the TV ambient mode. And then the final one is the music mode. So this appears to keep the top and bottom lights the same, with the rest of them then reacting to sound or reacting to music. Again, I'm not really sure how many different modes there are, maybe 5, 6 on this one. But again, you can't go back to TV mode, but you can change from music TV, or TV music, sorry, to sound. But obviously switch it off and go back, press a colour, then go back to TV. Okay, so that's the back, and obviously the reason it is in this random pattern is, one, I just wanted to use all the lights, and two, it was to separate or a way to actually stick the LED light strip on the back with having the first set of, I guess, camera activated lights on the top and the second on the bottom. Right, let's get this back on the wall and then see how it performs.